Transpiration is the evaporation of water from the surface of leaves. For the exam, you need to be able to define transpiration as the evaporation of water from the surface of leaves. So when water does evaporate from leaves, it goes out into the air surrounding the plant. It is this loss of water from the leaves that results in the movement of water up the plant in a stream. But how does this process create a stream? When stomata are open to let in carbon dioxide, water evaporates from the cells of the leaves. In this image, you can see a cross-section of a leaf. Down at the bottom of this diagram, you can see that the stomata are open. Remember that stomata openings are controlled by the guard cells and have to be opened to let in carbon dioxide. Water evaporates into the air gaps from the spongy mesophyll cells. The water vapour diffuses out through the stomata into the air. So this water that has evaporated from the cell surface diffuses out. For the exam, you need to be able to explain that open stomata allow water to evaporate from the surface of cells, with the result that this water can then diffuse out of the leaf and into the air, away from the leaf. So then, inside the leaf, the water is diffusing from an area with a lot of water, or with a high water potential, to an area with less water, or a low water potential. So what happens now that water is lost from the leaf? This evaporation draws water in from the xylem, replacing the lost water. Remember that the xylem is a stiffened structure through which water and mineral ions travel, represented in this diagram in red. So then, water moves out of the xylem and is then lost from the leaves through the processes of evaporation and diffusion. Both of these processes are key processes that you're going to cover elsewhere in the course. What else is happening in the xylem? Inside the xylem, the intermolecular forces of the water mean water is pulled up in a continuous stream. This diagram shows the xylem. In this diagram, you can see the individual water molecules, and in between the molecules, there are intermolecular forces. These are attractive forces between molecules. In biology, we sometimes call this cohesion. Because of these forces, water moves upwards in a stream like it does through a straw. Remember that xylem is a tube strengthened by lignin, a polymer that provides support. For the exam, you need to link the fact that the xylem is hollow and strengthened, allowing it to withstand this sucking effect and maintain the transpiration stream. What happens further down the plant? This effect continues down to the roots as the water lost at the leaves is replaced by osmosis into the root hair cells from the soil. So to quickly recap, osmosis is defined as the diffusion of water from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. So in this example, the higher concentration of water would be in the soil surrounding the root hair cells, and the lower concentration would be inside the plant. Remember, there's more water in the soil surrounding the roots than there is in the lower area of the plants, as it's being pulled away due to transpiration. This results in water moving into the plant, replacing the lost water, so moving from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Osmosis is a very important concept in biology, and you need to remember that this is the diffusion of water from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution through a partially permeable membrane. In this case, the cell membrane of the root hair cell.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy to follow videos and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Biology course. See you there!